And joining me exclusively out front is Don Lemon. So Don, you do this 90-minute long interview with Musk. You sit down with him. This is the culmination. He had actively courted you to come on. One of his tweets: have you considered doing your show on this platform? Maybe worth a try. Audience is much bigger. It had been public. Then you had reached a deal. I'll talk about that later. Then he texts 24 hours after this 90-minute long interview, which is the first of your show launching. He says, contract is canceled. What happened?
Yeah. First of all, it's good to see you, Aaron. Thank you for having me on. That's a good question for Elon Musk, quite frankly, what happened. I don't know. As I said in my statement, I felt really good about the interview. I said to him as we were doing the interview, and it was tense at moments, but you've been involved in tense interviews. Yep. I said to him, I think it's good that people see folks like you and I who have different worldviews come together and talk, as he says, have free speech. Free speech is only important when someone you don't like, or I would say someone who doesn't have your same point of view, or someone is, if they're allowed to speak freely and to say their point of view. Apparently that doesn't matter to Elon Musk. It's just for maybe talking points for him or rhetoric, because it doesn't seem to matter when it's about him, questions about him.
All right, guys, so we got to follow up on this story from yesterday involving Don Lemon getting fired by Elon Musk, in which Don Lemon's show was supposed to have a exclusive partnership with X, okay? And it was apparently a multi-million-dollar contract that Elon Musk had prepared or had agreed to do with Don Lemon, until Don Lemon decided that it would be a good idea to run a hit job interview on his boss because he really wants to be back in the mainstream liberal media, okay? And he's doing the bidding of his liberal media corporate handlers, even though the guy has the freedom to be independent, right? But because he wants to be a part of the establishment, he wants to be a part of the club, he decided to turn on Elon Musk, who was the only person that I can think of that gave Don Lemon an opportunity to revive his dying career, despite the fact that it is in all likelihood that nobody would have watched Don Lemon's show. I do not think that Elon Musk would have got a positive return on investment from partnering with Don Lemon, paying him millions of dollars to do a show on X. However, Elon Musk decided to enter that partnership because I think that he saw that as a way to encourage more creators to come on X and to broadcast their shows on X. Okay, I mean, the Tucker Carlson partnership, I'm not sure if Tucker is actually getting paid or what, but the Tucker Carlson X show has been overwhelmingly successful. And Don Lemon was next in line to potentially elevate himself into a new stratosphere of journalism by launching a show on X in which he would be independent, okay? He wouldn't have the liberal media telling him what to say, what topics he can cover, what he can do. And to me, he could have been successful, right? He could have been more successful than what he was doing on CNN. However, Don Lemon decides not to do that. What did Don Lemon decide to do? Well, he decided to stab his boss in the back, right? The guy that basically gave him a chance to save his career with a sham hit job interview, and then take the footage and go groveling back to CNN, the same network that fired him, in order to shit on his old boss, right? The guy that actually, again, gave Don Lemon a chance, okay? Again, Don Lemon is a fucking snake, right? That is the only way I can describe Don Lemon. I'm actually pissed off for Elon Musk, especially after seeing this interview that Don Lemon did on CNN, where he's talking about his interview with Elon Musk and playing some of the clips. Yeah, Don Lemon is a fucking snake, and quite honestly, it's the end of his career, right? It really is. Like, he doesn't realize that he just ended his own career, right? And I'm gonna tell you guys why. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
Do you believe that X and you have some responsibility to moderate hate speech on the platform? That you wouldn't have to answer these questions from reporters about the Great Replacement Theory as it relates to Democrats?
I don't have to answer these questions.
The Great Replacement Theory as it relates to Jewish people. Do you think that?
I don't have to answer questions from reporters. Don, the only reason I'm doing this interview is because you're on the X platform and you asked for it. Otherwise, I would not do this interview.
So you don't think, do you think that you wouldn't get in trouble or you wouldn't be criticized for these things?
I'm
or that
criticized
there was-
constantly. I could care less.
Illuminating in so many ways. All right, I have two things I want to ask you about that, Don.
Look at this smug smile. Look at this smug smile. I mean, this is the same network that kicked his ass to the curb. And now he's back on the network groveling, smiling because, oh, I got Elon Musk. I did what you guys wanted me to do. I got Elon. The guy that gave this talentless hack, right, an opportunity. Gave him an opportunity. And then he stabs him in the back. For what? All for what? For this right here. For this moment right here. For promotion of a show that is ultimately going to fail, that nobody's going to watch. Right? Nobody's going to watch Don Lemon's show. But again, he's doing all this to get people to watch the first episode, right? For promotional purposes. But it's not going to work. Okay? Because after this first episode, nobody is going to watch it. Right? Nobody's going to watch it. And the fact that he did this, he felt the need to do this, reeks of desperation on multiple levels. Okay? First and foremost, he's desperate to be in the club, right? Because that's what this is about. This is about being a part of the club. Now, again, if Don Lemon would have took that multi-million-dollar contract from Elon Musk, okay, and he would have just launched his show on X, Tucker Carlson style, where he actually did some real independent journalism. He wasn't just a liberal media hack, okay? If he would have done that, guess what? He would have been shunned by his colleagues. He would have been seen as a traitor. Oh, you betrayed us. You're working for Elon Musk. You're working for the enemy. And the reason why you know that's true is because he's telling you, yeah, all of my liberal media colleagues were in my ear telling me about who Elon Musk is. Elon Musk isn't going to allow me to do a real interview with him. Elon Musk doesn't really believe in free speech, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All that stupid dumb shit that they was telling this guy. And he bought right into it like a dummy. Again, this guy has to be the dumbest guy on television, right? I mean, I don't understand what is up with these liberals in the media and fumbling bags, bruh. I mean, Don Lemon just fumbled a bag, okay? I mean, I don't know who else is going to pay Don Lemon millions of dollars to have a failing show. I'm not sure who else is going to do that, because I can tell you right now, nobody's going to watch his new show. Again, especially now, nobody's going to watch it. And he's not going to bring in $1 million running his show just himself independently, okay? He's not going to. So again, I'm not sure who's going to give him a multi-million-dollar contract. He hasn't got another job with the mainstream liberal media. Maybe this is his attempt to try to get another job with the mainstream liberal media. Okay, this hit job interview. But I honestly don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to work. I think Don Lemon just tanked his career. I think that's what he did, because he's showing the world that he's a big snake. He is not to be trusted. He's not to be trusted at all.
First, the great replacement theory. Right. As you bring it up, he has tweeted a tweet he shared. Increasing illegals boost Dem voting power, causing them to recruit more. Mm-hmm. If Dems win President, House, and Senate, they'll grant citizenship to all illegals, and America will become a permanent one-party deep socialist state. Right? He has gone there directly. How much does he stand by these ideas?
Well, he didn't quite seem to understand that he did, originally he did that with Jewish people, sort of a great replacement theory thing that he did with Jewish people, and he got in trouble and he had to go to Auschwitz and answer questions and apologize and go with Ben Shapiro.
Which is pathetic, right? Low-key, again, Elon, for as much as I respect the guy's intelligence, him groveling to the woke mob, and I don't care who it is, to me it's pathetic. You don't have to. Right? You do not have to grovel to these people. But, hey, everybody eventually ends up bending the knee to a particular group of people. So I don't know. Maybe there's some larger thing going on here. I'm not entirely sure. But, again, all that groveling to the mob, I don't respect that. I do not respect that.
But he doesn't understand that sort of rhetoric that he talks about, the great replacement theory and migrant invasion, that's what radicalized shooters use in their manifestos, those exact words. The people who go and shoot up people, whether they be Latino people who live in Texas, or black people who are in a supermarket in Buffalo, or Jewish people who are worshiping, those people use the same rhetoric, that they are tropes, that they're either racist for Latinos or black people or for Jewish people. And I wanted to know if he felt any responsibility as someone who has one of the largest social media and information platforms in the world.
Quarter billion people.
A quarter billion people. I think it's 455 or 500 million users a week. And it doesn't seem that he feels that he has any responsibility with that, because
he doesn't have any responsibility. There's no evidence that any of these things that you guys are complaining about actually inspires mass shooters. Like, they keep talking about the great replacement theory. Liberal media talks about the great replacement theory more than anybody on the right, okay? Because the liberal media always talks about demographic change, how it's so great for this country, how white people, their birth rates aren't high, they're dying out, the country's becoming more diverse. You talk about great replacement more than anybody. Again, you just call it demographic change, okay? So again, all this is nonsense, okay? To try to say that the owner of a platform is somehow responsible for a mass shooting because he's telling the truth about the Democrats and their plans for immigration is silly. It's nonsense, right? I mean, when I can come out here and blame every violent protest that happens on the left, because we've had violent protests and mass shootings that have come from left-wing extremists. People that you can say have been radicalized by the left, okay? Like, for example, you see the Nashville Christian school shooting, you know, the shooting where they failed to release the manifesto, hiding the manifesto. Yeah, I could say, hey, maybe, just maybe, that person was motivated by left-wing extremism. So again, you know, two people can play this game. I think that these questions are silly, okay? And I'm going to get into a little bit more detail about this interview, okay, and why I think that this interview was out of bounds for Don Lemon specifically. Not necessarily out of bounds in terms of a journalist being able to ask these questions, but it was just dumb for Don Lemon to do something like this.
He seemed really averse to facts, that facts did not matter to him. It didn't matter that he retweeted things that were offensive to people. And this whole, the whole idea of what I was asking him about, was it offensive, and did he feel that his platform should have better moderation?
Wow. Again, imagine asking for a platform that you want to launch a show on, that a guy gave you a multi-million-dollar offer deal to be on. Imagine saying, oh, well, I want your platform to be more moderated. Again, Elon was right. This was CNN. This is Jeff Zucker talking through this guy, right? This guy is still working on behalf of the liberal media establishment. And then Don Lemon wants to boohoo, whine, and cry about free speech, as if this has anything to do with free speech. It has nothing to do with free speech at all. Okay, this guy thinks that he can stab his boss in the back and keep his job. Again, imagine getting fired from a job, right? You get fired, okay, and you have somebody come along and they give you an opportunity at another company, right? This is your new boss. Hey, we're going to give you an opportunity, right? And you use that opportunity to essentially stab your boss in the back by setting up an interview with your boss, in which you basically use that interview to financially hurt your new company, and then you run back to your old company to talk about it. In what scenario would somebody ever be able to keep their job, right? Doing something like that. I get Don Lemon is foolish. He's foolish. And it's hilarious to me that these people are trying to make this about free speech, because none of these arguments that they're applying right now applied to the right when the right was being demonetized, right? When money was being taken away from the right by these social media platforms. These people said, no, that's free speech. They don't have to do business with you. They don't have to pay you, right? As long as they're not banning you from the platform. And even when they were banning right-wingers from the platforms, they still was like, no, that's free speech. The company has the free speech to ban you from their platform. They don't want you on their platform. If you don't abide by their terms of service, if they don't want you on the platform, they don't have to. Now, when it happens to Don Lemon, all of a sudden, the argument flips. Oh, wait, no. Elon doesn't really believe in free speech because he's not paying Don Lemon to be on the platform. Wait, again, I thought that you guys said before, when it came to people on the right, they don't have to pay people on the right to be on their platforms. They don't have to do business with them. Again, it's amazing how that works. That argument only applies to people that they disagree with politically. And Elon Musk is not deplatforming Don Lemon. He's saying, you still can have your show on my platform. I don't care, right? We're just not going to pay you for it. So Don Lemon is not being censored at all, okay? This is not about free speech. This is about not wanting to do bad business, right? You are a snake. You're somebody that is bad to do business with. That's literally what this is about, which is an argument that the left used to accept when the platforms were owned by left-wingers who were doing it to right-wingers. They accepted that as, well, we don't, they don't want to do bad business, right? But now all of a sudden, Elon is not allowed to avoid doing bad business with Don Lemon. It's amazing how that works, right? All right, so let's go to this one. This is where Don Lemon talked about confronting Elon Musk about his drug use, which is especially egregious.
You talk about your ketamine use and depression. You also have said, and
the reason I should say, the reason I mentioned the ketamine prescription on the X platform was because I thought maybe this is something that could help other people. That's why I mentioned it. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, but I would say if someone has depression issues, they should consider talking to their doctor about ketamine instead of SSRIs.
Very civil conversation, but that is where it got very personal.
Well, it got personal, but I didn't put that out there. He has spoken very freely about his use of, those are prescription drugs, but about his use of ketamine. I would not have brought it up if it was...
on X, he posted it.
He posted it.
Yeah.
And so I would not have brought it up because that's someone's personal information. So I asked him about it. Also, it's no secret. His drug use, or alleged drug use, I should say, has been extensively written about it by very credible news organizations like the Wall Street Journal. And I asked him that, and he said, listen, I have not read the Wall Street Journal. I don't read the Wall Street Journal. If I don't have time to read about everything that people write about me, I would never get anything done. But also, if we remember, on Joe Rogan, he took a puff of marijuana, right? And he said it was just a joke and I only took one puff. Elon Musk is responsible for satellites, for Starlink. He's responsible for Tesla. He's responsible for a number of different companies in the stock market. Yep. And I think that it is important for people to understand his mindset, whether he's using drugs illegally or not, and even if the ones he's using, that's
one of the
supposed to be
most powerful people on the planet.
But ones that he's supposed to be, that he is using prescription-wise, that he's following a doctor's orders under that. Yeah. But yes, he's one of the most consequential people to the planet, and that was one reason why I was attracted to X.
Right. Obviously, we don't have any evidence either way on his drug use, but I think it's important that it comes up. Obviously, we've got a clip there. There's more.
CNN did not report that. The Wall Street Journal strictly reported that. That was not my reporting, but I had to ask him about it. And I also asked him if he was concerned about another Biden administration. One reason I wanted to ask him those questions is if he was going to lose his security clearance because of that, or he might be in jeopardy of losing his security clearance. And he said no, because he did say to me, I do not use drugs illegally. I have random drug tests, and I've always passed those drug tests.
Yeah. So again, what you have here is Don Lemon openly trying to sabotage a guy that gave him an opportunity to revive his dying career, right? Well, his dead career, because his career basically is dead, okay, at this point. He's unemployed, okay? His new show has not launched yet, so we don't even know how this is going to do, even though we do know how it's going to do. It's going to be a disaster. So again, when you talk about Elon Musk and his alleged drug use and stuff like that. Again, these are questions that could sabotage Elon Musk financially, right? And Don Lemon is asking him all of these questions that are obviously framed from a left-wing perspective. It is framed in a way to try to get Elon Musk in trouble and to diminish the platform that Elon offered Don Lemon a multi-million-dollar deal to be on. So I definitely understand why Elon Musk was pissed off. I definitely think that this was out of bounds for Don Lemon specifically. And let me elaborate on that, because I don't want people to think that, oh, well, you can't interview Elon Musk and ask him tough questions. No, I'm not saying that you can't interview Elon Musk and ask him tough questions. But that is the role of an outside journalist, right? Somebody that works for another platform, right? If some CNN journalist did that, again, Don Lemon doesn't work at CNN anymore, or MSNBC or NBC or ABC did that, I couldn't complain. I would have no issues with it, because ultimately, at the end of the day, I mean, that's just what the mainstream liberal media does. I'm not saying that Elon Musk is above answering tough questions. But when you have a guy like Don Lemon, who essentially at that point was working for Elon Musk, again, Elon Musk said the only reason I'm giving you this interview is because you're basically working for me. And you, in this interview, basically tried to financially destroy your boss. You try to set your boss up, the guy that, again, revived your dead career, gave you an opportunity. Again, it just shows that Don Lemon is a snake. He's a snake. That he is desperate to be a part of the liberal media establishment. So desperate that, again, he will stab the dude in the back that gave him an opportunity, that gave him a chance. And that's what really pisses me off about this. Because I know why Elon Musk offered Don Lemon that contract. It wasn't because, oh, well, he thought that Don Lemon's show would be super successful. No. It's because Elon Musk, one, wanted to give an opportunity to somebody like Don Lemon, who he may not agree with politically, but possibly, right, if Don Lemon had his show on his platform and he was getting paid by X, then that would attract others to the platform, right? It was a long-term business decision. Also, on top of that, shows like Don Lemon's show, you already know they're going to be advertiser friendly, right? So you'll be able to make more money off of those shows, even if they are not super successful. Well, you know that advertisers are going to be okay with their ads being placed on their shows, right? Because they're not going to say anything too off the wall, anything too crazy, because again, they're a part of the mainstream liberal media establishment. They're saying what the woke advertisers agree with. So, there's not much risk. Okay, you'll eventually get your money back. Okay. So I know why he did it from a business perspective. It was a long-term move meant to make it seem like, okay, well, I'm neutral, right? I'm not just on Tucker Carlson's team or, people on the right. I'm actually, open to having people from all sides of the aisle be on the platform, and some will get paid to do shows. So I understand it from a business perspective why he did it. Totally get it. 100%. But it just goes to show that these mainstream liberal media anchors, right, even when they go independent, even when they get fired, they're still agents of the state. They're still agents of the state. Because what Don Lemon did was try to conduct an interview that is state propaganda, right? Because, again, the state is trying to go after Elon Musk because Elon Musk is not playing ball with the establishment and their agenda. So, therefore, again, Don Lemon decided to run this hit job interview as a way to get back into the good graces of the establishment, to remain a part of the club. And then he goes running to the platform that fired him to trash the guy that gave him an opportunity. Again, it's despicable. It really is. And I don't respect that shit. I don't respect that at all. Okay? Again, it's one thing for another outlet to run this type of interview with Elon Musk, if he allows it. It's another for Don Lemon to do it. Don Lemon, you are not in any place to run that type of interview. The only reason you got the interview is because you were working for him. And to take advantage of a man's kindness for your own gain so that you can virtue signal to your liberal media handlers, it's sick. It's sick. And it really shows the type of guy that you are, because even though all of your friends in the mainstream liberal media may be congratulating you, oh, you stuck it to Elon Musk, they all know, just like everybody else knows, the world knows that you're a snake. You're a snake, bruh. You are a snake. If you don't turn on Elon Musk, who else will you turn on? Right? You turn on the guy that gave you a multi-million-dollar contract that saved your dead career. Yeah, we might agree with what you did when it comes to trying to expose Elon Musk, when it comes to trying to take down Elon Musk, but we know you're a snake. So Don Lemon better hope he gets his job back at CNN or some other liberal media outlet picks him up at some point. Which I don't think is going to happen because he doesn't bring in ratings. He doesn't bring in views. But again, if that doesn't happen and it's just his show, he's done. He's done. He don't even realize he killed his own career. Because if I was Elon Musk, not only would I not pay Don Lemon a dime, and I would spend every dollar that I have to make sure that I don't pay this man anything, I would also demote his show in the algorithm. I make sure nobody sees it on X. You can post it on X, but nobody's going to see it. So you better hope you get some views on YouTube. You better hope you get some views on whatever other platform you posting your show, because you ain't gonna get no views here. I wouldn't ban it. I just demote it. I'll do the same thing that the left does to the right. I think they call it what? Shadow banning? Not that it's necessary, because again, nobody's gonna watch Don Lemon's show regardless. Okay, it might not even be necessary, but hey, if I was Elon Musk, I think about doing it out of spite, just to stick it to Don. Because again, if Don Lemon would have just went along with the contract, if he would not have conducted this hit job interview Or if he would have been more, let's say if he would have conducted a more neutral interview with Elon, right? Then who knows? He'd be getting paid, millions of dollars. And also on top of that, maybe he would have got his content promoted by X, right? He would have got his show a lot more views. He would have remained more relevant. Okay? He could have maybe, just maybe, elevated himself in the same way that Tucker Carlson elevated himself after leaving Fox News. But no. Don Lemon decides that he's going to fumble the bag so that he can remain in good graces of his liberal handlers. He don't want to rock the boat. He don't want to be seen as a traitor to the left. So, it is what it is. I'm pissed off at Elon. I can tell that Elon was pissed off doing the interview because, again, it essentially was a hit job done on him by a guy that he gave a chance, an opportunity to. But I guess Elon Musk has learned a valuable lesson when it comes to dealing with these people in the liberal media. They're not your friends, and they're snakes, right? They're snakes, absolute snakes. And that's what Don Lemon is. I think his career is over, right? He's over. This is the last time he'll ever be relevant. This is his last ditch effort to maintain relevance. And I hope it was worth it, Don. I really do. I hope it was worth it. I don't think it will be in the long run. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.